Welcome everyone. My name's Ashley from the Business Advisory Center Durham, and today I have Anna with me who will be delivering the presentation. And as many of you know, this is Global Entrepreneurship Week, and specifically Do It in Durham, which is Durham's celebration of Global Entrepreneurship Week. So Do It in Durham is Entrepreneurship Week. It's a collaboration of Durham's business support, educational and networking organizations who have come together to encourage and support entrepreneurs, job creators, innovators who create economic growth in Durham Region. So if you're looking to start a business, invest in a business, grow a business, we encourage you to do it in Durham. And I just want to say thank you to our sponsors. We have premier sponsors, partners, and community partners who have supported us through this event series. So without their help, we would not have been able to put this on. So thank you. And a huge shout out to our sponsors and collaboration partners. And I will hand it over to you, Anna, to get this night rolling.
Amazing. Thank you. So before we dive in, I've actually put together a free workbook that is pretty much going to help you take what we're learning today so that you can implement it either throughout this call if you feel like you want to kind of follow along that way. It is not necessarily structured the same way as our workshop will be, but it is going to help you kind of map out the things that we're talking about here today. So I've actually put a QR code. I figured many of you would be on your computer. So if you have your phone nearby, you can just scan it, open it up on your computer and download it, whatever works for you. And I've also included the link here. So I'll give everyone a few minutes. Whoops. I'll bring it back up in case anyone's typing it or trying to scan the QR code. Okay. Is everyone good? Yes, yes, okay. I see some people have cameras on, so I'm going with the nodding. We'll proceed. So my name is Anna. For those of you that don't know me, I started my business, Dreaming Big Lifestyle. Can we get the link for the workbook in the chat, please? Yes, I can do that at the end.
I'll send it, Anna.
Okay, perfect. So I started my business, Dreaming Big Lifestyle, in 2020, and I took it full-time in 2022. I was actually born in Argentina, but have lived most of my life in Canada. So my first language is actually Spanish. And English is my second language, but I've been here long enough that my accent doesn't really pop out, only on some words every now and then. What I do through my business is that I help other small business owners create a life they love by increasing their time freedom and financial security through marketing strategies and business coaching. I have been in the marketing world for over 10 years, which is what brought me to start my own business, offering the marketing services and the business coaching, working with small business owners. So today we are talking about how to take your business from DIY to financial overflow. Okay. So I always like to start by sharing a little bit about my start into the entrepreneurial world because it wasn't this business that I have now. I actually always say that I fell into the entrepreneurial world when I started upcycling furniture and selling it on Kijiji and Facebook Marketplace. It was very random, very different than what I do now, but it's sort of what I fell into and what made me realize that, okay, like you can make an income and it's actually a great idea to have more than one source of income. So I was doing this while I was working a full-time job. And it was truly a DIY business. At the time, I did not know how to scale, what foundations to have in place, and how to see the full potential of the growth of this business. Like I had pricing issues. I thought I was making money. Once I did the math, I wasn't really making money. I didn't really have a plan in place. I didn't have marketing in place, and I didn't have strategy. Again, because I fell into it and it really was just DIY. Let's see what works, what doesn't work. Since then, I've been able to create a business with systems and processes that allowed me and my clients to create a sustainable and scalable business model, which is what we're going to walk through today. So today's agenda, we are actually going to walk through 4 things. One of them is identifying your ideal client. Always have to start there. How to create a marketing plan strategy and what daily actions you should be taking, setting up your business for growth, and then talking about pricing and your offer suite. And then, of course, we'll have some time for questions. So your ideal client. Knowing your ideal client allows you to niche down without having to niche down. You probably heard this before. It's like you have to niche down your business. And I feel like a lot of times people get hung up on how to do that because you're trying to fit yourself inside of a box. When really, if you really understand who your ideal client, and that's really good niching down because you know exactly who you're talking to and how it is that you can help them and what transformation you can provide. It also allows you to convert potential clients into leads. It allows you to create an umbrella or a North Star, whatever you want to refer to it as, which is basically like, this is what I do. And then all your offers and everything fall underneath that. And then it allows you to get leads without having to be online 24/7 because your social media, your website, all this is just working in your favor to speak directly to your ideal client. People feel understood. And you want to know your clients so that they see you as an authority figure. Because let's be honest, we're all in businesses where there's someone else doing the same thing we're doing, because that's just the nature of thing. We live in 2023. The world has been around a long time. So presenting yourself as an authority figure is a great way of connecting with your ideal client. They feel understood, therefore they see you as the authority in marketing and business coaching and whatever service or product you have. And when they feel seen and understood, they're more likely to buy from you. They feel like you already know them and you already understand their problem, and they trust that you have the solution. Plus, a great way to sell is actually to sell a lifestyle. So it depends on your business, but selling a lifestyle is a tool that many businesses use, like Lululemon and Coca-Cola use this. I don't know if you noticed, but Lululemon and Coca-Cola don't actually sell a service. They sell products, but they market it as if they're selling a lifestyle or emotions. You know, Lululemon, they sell the lifestyle of, you know, doing yoga and being active and all that kind of stuff. And then Coca-Cola sells pop, but really their commercials are all about selling an emotion, a feeling, a community, a family. You know, you have the little polar bear and the penguin family, and now they're all a community together and they love each other and all these things, right? So keep that in mind, that selling a lifestyle works. And it's a good way of doing it. Okay. So here I have a couple of questions for you, and I'll leave this up for a little bit in case you're taking down notes or snapping some pictures as I kind of talk about these points. So these questions are going to help you get clear on your ideal client. One, why would your client seek your services? Why are they looking for what you offer? Whether it's a product or a service, it doesn't matter. You can interchange that in here because even a product makes a difference. You know, like, yes, I can go buy a cup, but I want a very specific cup. I want a cup that's going to make a difference in my day because I already have all those other cups, right? So you can interchange that. You know, you need to understand their pain points. What are they struggling with? What are those things that they're struggling with? Like, why do they need that cup? Why do they need your service? Why do they need your product? And then what is the result that they're looking for? Like, what do they desire? So for example, like, I'll use my business as an example, business coaching. Like, your pain point is that you have a business and you're currently struggling to just get clients in the door. That is what you're struggling with. That is what's keeping you up at night. What do you desire? Well, I want to be able to do one post and not have a massive to-do list and have clients coming in the door and feel like I'm successful and hitting the income goals that I want to be hitting, right? That's a pain point and a desire. When you understand this, it gets really easy to identify who your ideal client is. Other things to walk through is, when do they usually buy the type of services you offer? So if you're in the product base, and let's say you make Christmas ornaments, like, you know that Christmas is the time that people buy Christmas ornaments for their Christmas trees, right? So sometimes there is a buying time for what it is that you're offering. It's not always applicable, but it's good to know this. For example, January, if you're in the fitness world, that's a time, or December and early January is when you want to be promoting your fitness stuff, because that's probably when you have the biggest uptake. As small business owners, it's natural for us to have ebbs and flow in our business and our income. And it's about strategizing ourselves and our business to make the most out of those times so that you can bring in so much money at the beginning of the year that in the summertime, when you know it's your slower season, it's okay because financially you've already kind of mapped that out in your marketing plan, in your sales plan. Okay. And what is our buying strategy? For some things, it's just an easy add to cart, check out, good to go. Others, they might want to check out reviews. They might want to have a call with you, like myself, business coaching. A lot of people want to do a discovery call. Like, can we talk on face to face or on the phone for 15 minutes so I get to know you? Sometimes people's buying strategy is a little bit different, and that's all based on what it is that you offer. And then something else that I like to encourage business owners to do is to sort of create a persona of their ideal client. And you can use these prompts, like what is their career? What is their current salary? Because the salary one is an interesting one to do, because this could be the thing that, maybe the salary is X amount and your product is like, well, they can't afford it. Or this is priced too low that someone that's making this sort of income would think that this isn't for them, because they're out there buying these luxury stuff with the luxury price tag, right? These questions and creating your persona of your ideal client allows you to understand them more and use the language that's going to resonate with them the most. Okay. Another thing is do your research. A lot of the times when we're putting together our ideal client, it's what we think, what we feel, which is fantastic because you are probably one of the best people to know this because you sell to them. But do some research. Find accounts of people you feel are your ideal clients. Like if it was service or product based, I'm like, I think this person would be ideal. If you sell a product, those most likely might be influencers, would be a great place. The ones that have really big followings and are constantly promoting and selling different products would probably be a really good one for you. But otherwise, find accounts of people that you think are your ideal clients and be an FBI agent. Like, go in there and check everything out. What are they posting? What do they seem to like? What are they spending their time on? What are their hobbies? Like you can kind of see all this stuff from a public profile. What words are they using on their social media? That's also a good thing to know. And then another thing you can do is search on Google questions you would have for your industry. And I have some examples here. So the first one I wrote is, do I need a business coach? And if you scroll down not too far on your Google search, you're going to see people also ask. This is Google telling you that a majority of people are going onto Google and searching these questions. This is, FYI, great source of content for your social media, or if you write blogs, also great. People are searching this up. People want to know the answer to these questions. Here's another example. Are soy candles better than wax? Okay. And then all these questions come up. Which one is better? What are the downsides of one? Like Google is straight up telling you, if you want to talk to this is what your ideal client is looking for. These are the related questions they have. So if you can answer these, you're going to set yourself up as an authority figure, and people are going to trust you because they're like, I had that question and I didn't know what the right answer was, because Google has just so much information. I want someone to be just straightforward with me. Right? So this is a great place to do research. There's a section called People Also Ask is what the section is called. So you're going to scroll a little bit. It's like not that far down the page. And then as you actually open these with the little arrow thing here, more will populate. So you could just spend hours being an FBI agent on Google there, figuring that out. Okay. So this allows you to create specific messaging. Let me share examples with you here. This weighs 2 pounds. I'm like, well, I don't know what that is because I can't visualize it. Versus if you said it is as heavy as a bedside table. I'm like, okay, well, I understand that because I have a bedside table and I've had to pick it up before. This is probably not the best comparison because I don't think a bedside table weighs 2 pounds. It's probably more than that, but you get the idea. Saying it weighs 2 pounds, if I'm your ideal client, I'm not resonating with that because I personally don't actually know what that feels like. Okay, here's another example. Let's get you to the next level of what? Tell me more. I'm like, this is very vague. Versus, let's work together to reduce the number of things on your to-do list so that you can spend your time growing your business to your next income goal. This you can visualize better. You can visualize your to-do list decreasing, and you can visualize yourself hitting that next income goal because you most likely have one, right? You know, it's like Tim Hortons versus Starbucks. If your ideal client frequents Tim Hortons and you start talking about Starbucks, they're not going to relate to that. You know, if you start talking about cars and talking about cars as a metaphor, but your ideal client is more about shopping and, you know, finding the perfect outfit, they're not going to resonate with it. So this is getting specific with your messaging and understanding your ideal client. That is step one, because once you tap into that, people will start buying from you. People will start messaging you. Now let's talk a little bit about how to create a marketing plan and a strategy plan and what daily actions you should be taking. First of all, you need a strategy to take your business into overflow. This is almost a non-negotiable. And a lot of people get hung up with this because if creating a plan is not your thing, it can feel overwhelming. But I want you to know that creating the plan actually allows you to have more flexibility within your business and within your life, because now you're not wondering what you should be doing, when you should be doing it, what you should be focusing on, if you have time to do this or do that. So by having a plan and something that you can follow, it really allows you to be flexible, and it allows you to tap into that creativity because everything is taken care of. So now you just get to be creative. You know, otherwise you end up doing the busy work. We're all guilty of it. I'm guilty of it, where I avoid the things that I know are going to move my business forward, and I just do the busy work, the admin work. That's not really important. Do I need to be doing my taxes every single day? No, right? Like that's busy work. Things that do need to get done, but don't necessarily need to get done right now. And I know that they're not going to move my business forward, right? So the first thing is create a plan for your year. So grab a piece of paper, write all the months of the year. I actually have a business planning course that walks through this if you want more detail in that, but this is really creating a plan for your year, okay? And then you want to create a detailed plan for your month. So I'm going to walk you through this. Monthly plan. I'm going to focus on this more.
Sorry. Could you just go back to the last slide? I didn't take a picture. Thanks.
There you go. This is being recorded, so you will be able to watch this and recap. Okay, so your business plan is for the year is basically going to be your January to December, and you're going to map out what it is that you want to do each month. You know, like what services do you want to focus on? How much income do you want to bring in each month? Knowing that maybe if you're taking the month of July off, that's going to be a month where you don't necessarily, like you can't necessarily sell a service that's one-on-one if you're service-based, right? It would have to be something that doesn't require your time because you're taking July off. You know that December is a really good month for you because you've had this year in business at least, right? So then you can kind of map that out for next year. You know that this time of year, this service does really well. So you're going to map that out in as much detail as you possibly can. And I'm going to talk to you about your monthly plan. Each month, I want you to figure out how much new income you want to bring in that month. Okay, you're probably going to start your month with already some income. Beyond that, I want you to figure out what your income goal is for the month. Then I want you to think about how you want to help people this month, whether that's through a product or a service. You know, is there a specific product or service that supports this way of helping people? Then I want you to write down any life activities happening that month. Again, if you know you're going to be off, if you know something is happening, you know you want to take off 2 weeks in the holidays at the end of the year, like those are things you need to know as a business owner so that you can plan accordingly. And so that you don't freak out when you don't bring in the same amount of income or your income is different. Like it allows you to really plan out your year. And this is one that I really enjoy. What emotions or energy do you want to embody this month? The reason that I like this is because you can kind of do a lot of amazing and really cool things with this when it comes to your social media and how you feel about stuff. For example, let's just say you want to embody calmness, you know, and you're feeling kind of stressed out because maybe things aren't working out. you just simply ask yourself, if I was doing from a place of calm, knowing that things are going to work out, what would I be doing? And that allows you to kind of take back your power in that moment without, letting the outside world and all these things kind of impact you and things that are outside of your control. Because a lot of the times as business owners, there's things that we just can't control. So by figuring out what emotion it is you want to embody and asking yourself this question, it really allows you to pull yourself back into a place of, okay, you know what? I can't control this. So I'm going to take action instead of from a point of view of freaking out. I'm going to take one from a place of calmness. If I was being bold, how would I do this? If I was having fun, how would I do this? And then lastly, each month, I want you to identify your success meter. I talk to a lot of business owners, and a lot of the time they say, I've done this thing that everyone says is amazing, but I don't see it as being amazing because I'm on to the next thing. Or I feel like I failed at that. And I'm like, no, you didn't. Let's talk about it. A lot of the times is because we're not setting what the success looks like. If you want to be posting on social media, what is the success you want to see from that? Like, what do you actually want to get out of that? Is it that you want to be getting X amount of people landing in your DMs, or that you want to grow your account followers? What does that success actually look like? This allows you to be in the present, be grateful for all these milestones that you're hitting, and still push you to hit new ones. But without this success, we constantly feel like we're failing. So we definitely need the success meter.
Anna, sorry, there is a question about that. Do you do these monthly plans a year in advance or a month ahead?
That's a great question. So I do both. So before the year starts, so usually in December or whenever I feel called to, sometimes I'll do this in like February or March, whatever feels good. I'll kind of map things out because I want to know ahead of time. For example, this year I got married in August and then went on my honeymoon. So I knew that August and September, there were certain things that I couldn't promote and couldn't sell because a lot of my stuff is one-on-one. And I was taking a lot of time off. So I definitely map it out for the whole year. And then closer to the month, actually at the beginning of the month, I map it out in a lot more detail. So at the beginning of the month, I actually have a task that pops up and it walks me through all these questions as a reminder of like, okay, how much income do I want to bring this year? And I'll reference that year plan and then I'll fill in the blanks. Or if there's something that I'm like, you know what, this doesn't feel right anymore because this and this is going on in the world right now. I don't really want to promote this or that. And I adjust accordingly. But it allows me to kind of come to the table with some sort of guideline and foundation to help me move quicker through it. If you have any follow-up questions, drop them in the chat. Okay, so let's brainstorm how we're going to achieve these goals. Okay, this is going to be your strategy. This is going to be the detailed things. Number one, social media. Everyone needs to be on it. Everyone needs to become best friends with their social media. And if you're not feeling best friends with your social media, have fun with it because you can't get it wrong. And the more you have fun with it and the more you bring your personality and your point of view, you're going to see some amazing results. I have people that book discovery calls with me for business coaching because they've seen a picture on my social media of me with the Eiffel Tower in Paris. And they're like, I love the Eiffel Tower and I saw that you had this, so I had to book a call. Okay, what? I just have to say it. Like, really, that's what gets you in my DMs instead of the posts that are business related. Like, people are attracted to you as a business owner in terms of like, they want to feel that connection and that trust, right? So have fun with your social media. It doesn't always have to be business. Have fun with it because you never know what's going to come out of it. Okay. You need to have an online presence. You need to figure out how often you want to post. And each month, this might change. Again, if you're not around, you might not be posting as often, but you can also pre-plan and pre-schedule your social media posts. And I want everyone to remember that because it's really easy to put social media on the back burner and kind of avoid it and not do anything with it because it keeps coming up every day on your to-do list, okay? I've been there and I've avoided it. And let me tell you, it's not beneficial because people are looking at what you're doing. So figure out how often you want to post. There's no right or wrong answer. It really depends on what stage of business you're in. So if right now you are in a stage of growing and you want to get a lot of eyes on your channel, you definitely want to be posting more often. And right now in particular, reels are going to be your best friends because videos are just reaching a lot more non-followers, people that are not following you, specifically on Instagram, right? So if you're in a stage right now where you're like, you know what, I have room for like 1 or 2 more clients, maybe you're not posting as often just because like one post could bring that person in the door. And your goal and your metric for success is a little different. But you need to establish what it is that you can commit to. You know, how many videos are you going to be posting? What topics or ideas do you have? Do you need to create graphics for your stories? This is actually something that I do. If I have a specific service that I'm going to be promoting and selling, I'll create graphics for it so that I can create that brand consistency. I'll go into the platform Canva and I'll go on there and I'll create a graphic and I'll put that up in my stories. And it helps that brand consistency. So every time someone sees a specific picture, that specific design, they know it's related to a specific service or product. And what platforms are you showing up on? These are the ones that I'm on: Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, and I'm also on Pinterest. I'm in a lot of places, but marketing is my thing and I've been in business for a while. There's a question in the chat: are videos as important on Facebook? So videos in general are just very powerful right now in terms of reaching a lot of people. So yes, I think you definitely should, because they also stop people from scrolling because they automatically play. Right? So if you have a lot of stagnant images, that might not be beneficial. You should definitely have those, but they might not always stop people from scrolling, versus a video is more likely to, because it automatically plays even on Facebook. So Nicole, I know that you do fitness, workout, dance related stuff. So because of the industry that you're in, I think it's definitely important for you to do video, because it's going to stop people and they're going to see what it's like to be in your class, for example. So for me, I wanted to walk you through what it looks like for me when I do this. Okay. So at the beginning of the month, I map out my social media with ideas, or at least the type of post I want to do each day for Instagram. So the type of post being reels, or a stagnant post, or a carousel. The carousel is the one that has more than one image that you can scroll through, right? Or the actual ideas, because I know what it is that I want to be promoting and how I want to be helping people that month. So I might have already ideas kind of running in my head around that. So I'll kind of pop that into my calendar, knowing what my consistency is, how often it is that I want to show up each week, each month, what that looks like. Every 2 weeks, I go through my live posts and archived stories on my Instagram. So Instagram is my primary platform. Yours might be Facebook or LinkedIn or TikTok. It might be something else. For me, it's Instagram. So that is what I focus on. I will go through those stories and post and reshare any I feel are interesting on Pinterest. Pinterest, if you are not on there, please get on Pinterest. If it's the only thing you do from today, go on Pinterest. And the reason for that is because it is Google. It works the same way, in the sense that someone goes on Google and they type in a search word and things come up. Pinterest is the same way. People go on Pinterest, they search for things, and instead of having like website links, they have images pop up and populate. You can get a lot of traffic. I know people on Pinterest that have 4 or 5 followers, and because they're actively posting on there, they have 3,000, 4,000 views each month. It's a good place to be on. I also, each month, choose a day of the week to film one long YouTube video that is tied into how I want to help people this month, and 2 YouTube shorts, which are more like, if you're not familiar with it, it's more like reels and TikToks. They're much shorter, YouTube shorts, for my marketing strategies that work series. Now, one thing to point out here is that I choose a day of the week, meaning that I'm not figuring out what it is that the video is. I don't really have to, but I'm also filming these in one day, and then I'm scheduling them, because I don't want to see this pop up on my to-do list over and over again. So if there are things that you can batch, that you can group together, get it done in an hour or 2, and then schedule them, do that. That is great for your blogs, write your blogs, schedule them in advance. It's great for your social media if you're able to be ahead. The social media one takes a little bit of time because normally you're creating quite a few things for that. So that one might be a little bit more overwhelming to try to get done in one batch. But your blogs, any e-blasts like newsletters that you're sending out, if you know where you're promoting, you kind of know what you want to tell your email audience. For YouTube, for TikTok, I actually select one day every 2 weeks and I film 4 TikTok videos with topics and concepts that relate to how I want to help people this month. I'm going to be honest with you. This sounds like a lot. It sounds like I don't have a life. And that's actually not the reality, because I have a plan that allows me to have a lot of flexibility in my time and day. And every day, or like every 2 weeks, I'm filming 4 TikToks. That's like 10 minutes. And then maybe like an additional 10 minutes to edit them and schedule them. I might be exaggerating. Let's just say it's an hour, but TikTok videos are relatively short. So this does seem like I'm doing a lot, and I will be honest, it's a lot. I'm in a lot of places. I'm doing a lot of things, but by having the plan, it really allows me to not feel overwhelmed by this and still be able to reach my client where they are with relevant topics that are interesting to them, that speak to their pain point and their desires. I also figure out what I want to post on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn right now, this is something new that I started posting on. And because LinkedIn really highlights your resume, what I'm focusing on posting on there is any events and workshops that I'm hosting and facilitating, and any blog posts. I'm not doing anything beyond that. So that one's kind of an easier one for me right now. Again, this is just what I'm focusing on. For you, that might look different based on what it is that your business does and the platforms that you feel your ideal client is visiting. So I use a program called Asana. This is a program called Asana. Sorry, I just started reading the chat, but I'll go back to that after. So this is a program that I use, went too far, called Asana. It's actually a free one. You can download it. It also has upgraded versions. For now, I just use the free, and on here, I kind of use this as my daily calendar with what it is that I'm doing each day. This is what my social media looks like. So for some of these, they say IG story, and then I have, promote a freebie, like a free download, or like promote audits. Then I have a reel with a little description in the title of what it is that it's supposed to be about. Some of these actually have more content written on it when you open it up, and a lot of them don't. But this allows me to kind of go, okay, social media can actually sit on the back burner, because until this task pops up, I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to do anything about it. And Anna, at the beginning of the month, kind of took care of what it is that I need to talk about. Love her when she does that. This is once you click on those tasks. For example, I wanted to show you what my film TikToks looks like. There's not a lot of information, but there's enough that I can open this up and do the work. A lot of the times as business owner, we spend a lot of time thinking, what should I do? What should I talk about? And with that said, on my notes section on my phone, I actually have some folders in my notes section where I drop in any ideas, because this is the thing. Creativity comes and goes. So when you feel creative, use that to your advantage and strategically to just write down everything that comes to mind. It might not even make sense right now, but there might be a moment where you go back into this folder and you go, wow, that was such a great idea. And it's so related to this service that I'm launching, this product that I'm putting out there, blah, 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 right? So this is in my notes section because I always have my phone with me. I wanted to share with you some posts and reels at work right now. So one of them is client profile or personal story. So an example of that is like this one down here that says from $0 to sold out. And I basically share one of my clients' success story, with privacy involved, of course, of the things that we did together within her business to help her get from $0 to sold out. If you right now don't have a lot of clients or stories that are relatable, you can do a personal story. But people like this because then they're like, oh, wow, okay, you helped that person with that problem, and I'm having that problem right now. So now I understand what it could be like to work together. Sharing educational or value stuff. If there's something trending, within your industry? Like, what is your point of view? Educating people on it, sharing tips. Another one is assets or shockers. So what this is like a wow factor. This one could fall into that. $0 to sold out is a wow factor. You see that, you're going to stop and go, tell me more. How did that happen? You know, and inspirational. Inspirational, I find, works really well for reels. If you want to get a lot of views on your reels, anything that's sort of like a motivational quote, kind of, you know, people, voiceovers talking, those ones do really well. Okay. I'm just going to answer one of these questions, these in the chat. So one of them says, in one of the workshops a couple weeks back, I learned about repurposing content. 100%. So actually last year for the Do It in Durham, I did a workshop on content repurposing, or at least that was one of the sections within there. And I walked through how if you do like one really long video on YouTube, how you can actually separate that and repurpose it into different parts of, you know, Pinterest, YouTube Shorts, emails, all these things. So repurposing content is amazing. And that's currently what I'm doing for my Pinterest. What I post on Instagram, I post on Pinterest. Another question is, do I put in these items in your calendar after you finish your monthly plan? Yes, absolutely. If it's not in my calendar or in my Asana, which is where I kind of map out each day and what task I need to do, it's not going to get done. Let's just be honest. Okay. There's too many things as a business owner to hold all that stuff in your brains. Like, it's a lot for me to hold all that information in my head. So it needs to be in my calendar. So once I do my monthly plan, even my yearly plan, I start populating that into a calendar, whether it's like a hard copy or digital. Digital is better because, again, things change. So it kind of allows you to kind of move things around digitally. Okay. Another thing that I want everyone to be doing is to reach out to third-party possibilities, okay, where your ideal client would be consuming the content. So that would be things like podcasts, doing speaking events, networking events. You have to find your clients. You know, you can't just wait for them to find you. Will they? Yes, absolutely. A lot of them will, but you also need to go out there and find them. So there's actually some Facebook groups that you can, that are podcast related, that are, I think one of them is called Find a Guest or Find a podcast guest. And people that have podcasts will go on there and say, this is what my podcast is about, and I'm looking for speakers to talk about this or that. And you can go on there and kind of pitch yourself, because when you have third-party recognition, it kind of works in a few ways. So one of them being, it's like other people saying that you're awesome, or asking you questions that allow you to say that you're awesome, for a podcast, for example. And then on the other side of it is that if they're linking to your website, that helps you with your search engine optimization, meaning that Google will actually see that this person or this other platform has linked your website, and they start to understand the credibility of your website. Okay. One thing I want everyone to do here daily is sell. I get Victoria's Secret emails every single day. It is overwhelming, but I am waiting for them to announce their sale. Okay, if they can do that, you can show up on your Instagram stories, in your emails, promoting every day, if that's what feels good for you, right? Don't hold back. Don't hold back, because your social media account, whatever it is that you're on, your business in general, although it might be digital and not a brick and mortar, think about it as if it were a storefront, and people, all those followers you have, are in your storefront, in the reception area, waiting, wanting to find out information, wanting to know what offers you have, wanting to know what your thoughts are on this thing. So it would be a disservice if you didn't tell them about it. At the end of the month, take a look at your strategy and your business and your work. Check your social media analytics. What posted well? What didn't do well? What do people respond to well? You know, what emails had more opens, more link clicks, more replies? That is a really good metric for you to understand what it is that your ideal client is interested in, your analytics. Discipline over motivation. This is what your plan allows you to do. A lot of the times, my clients say, I'm not motivated. And I say, well, That's not really what it's about. It's about being disciplined. Your motivation is going to come and go. And again, it's about taking advantage of it. When that motivation hits, do all the things that require creativity. You know, if you know you're launching something soon, sit there and say, okay, if I was doing social media for this, what would I be writing about? Use your motivation strategically, but motivation comes and goes, but your discipline is always going to be there. Your plan allows you to be disciplined, allows you to show up. And I want you to know that the work that you're doing right now, it kind of has twofold. Part of it is for your business right now and in the very near future, but a lot of the other stuff that you're doing is going to give you results in about 3 months. You know, those third party, being on a podcast, being interviewed, doing a workshop, all these social media posts, getting new followers, probably going to give you results in about 3 months. That's sort of what the cycle is looking like right now. So put in the work now. So come January, February, you're doing amazing. Okay. Now let's talk a little bit about setting your business up for growth. There's two main things that fall under this category: your price and what you offer. If you have services that require your time, you're going to cap yourself out because you only have so much time in the day and you need to sleep and eat and all that stuff, right? So this means if you're not charging enough, you cannot hire someone to delegate your work to in this particular scenario. So number one, I want you to establish what items you can or want to delegate. So grab a piece of paper, write down everything that comes to mind that you do, whether it's business related or even house related. Because let me tell you, you can delegate your grocery shopping. I just did to HelloFresh. They did my grocery shopping for me, so I don't have to do that, which is fantastic, right? So if your life comes up as you're writing these notes, that's totally fine. Keep them in there. In this particular case, business focus. Like what are all the things that come up? And then from there, figure out what are the things that you do not like doing? And then ask yourself, like, does this actually need to be done by me or can it be done by someone else? And then there's some stuff that you can delegate. You might love doing it, but it takes up so much of your time that it's just not worth it because you're the CEO, you're the business owner. Your time is going to be more valuable, probably somewhere else on some of these tasks. So think about, like, can your social media be delegated? And if so, like, what does that process look like? Are you just giving them, write social media, figure it out? Or are you saying, these are the things I'm going to be promoting. Here's some ideas. I saw this post, blah, blah, blah. And then send it to me. I'm going to review it and make sure everything looks good. And it sounds like I'm the one talking, right? You want to make sure that whenever you're delegating something, there's a process or some sort of expectation. Number two, establish when you feel you will be ready to hire someone. I find that if you're not sure what this person is going to be doing, when you hit that point of capping yourself out, it's going to be really hard to hire someone because now you're in a situation where you absolutely need them and you don't even 100% know what you need them for or what that looks like. So you definitely need to figure out the first one. Then when are you going to be ready to do it? Is it when you don't have any free time in your schedule? When you're sold out and you have a wait list going on and that wait list is still there 3 months later, maybe you need to hire someone, or you're doing a lot of work that hourly is less than what you want to be earning. That comes back to that busy work. If things are taking a really long time to do and therefore now you're not making as much money hourly as you would be, that's a good time to hire someone. 3, reconnect with your company mission and your overall how you want to help people. And then, can you create something to sell that creates a transformation for your ideal client that doesn't require you to trade your time for it? So this could be something like a course. Could also be a group program. Maybe it's hiring someone to do the work. Like, can you teach someone to do what you do? This allows you to create an offer suite of different ways people can enter your world to get different steps or levels of the overall transformation you sell at different price points. Think about a car salesman, right? You have like the super fancy Ferrari, everyone wants it, but then they also have a whole bunch of other models, right? It's not just the one. They have the one that's super pricey that everyone loves and probably what gets people in the door. But then a lot of them are probably not purchasing that one, and they're purchasing maybe different models at different price points that still give you the overall transformation you're looking for, or that overall feeling, right? At different price points. It solves a portion of the problem at least. Okay. That is the end of today's presentation. I'm going to go back through the questions, and if there's any additional questions, please drop them in the chat. Thank you for attending the event. As a thank you, I've put together an offer for you for a 1-hour coaching session. You can either scan the QR code or this link here, and that's going to give you access to book a one-on-one call where we can talk about what your goals are, what is working in your business, what isn't working. If you want to put together a business plan together on the call, we can definitely do that so that we can get you more clients in the door and really set you up for 2024. Okay. So let's see. I think I answered most questions as I was going through, but if I missed any, please let me know. There's one here. Do you recommend connecting it to your personal calendar or keep it separate? At one point, I did have it on my personal calendar where I was putting in there what I was doing each day. And then I felt really overwhelmed whenever I opened my phone. So that wasn't working for me. So right now my calendar is really just about meetings or very important things. Like if I know I'm procrastinating on something, then I will put that in my calendar and set time aside to make sure that I tackle it. But otherwise, my calendar is just for my meetings. And like I mentioned, this other platform that I use is Asana, and they have a calendar feature and maps out your days. And that's where I'm putting each individual task. Or I don't have it in front of me, but even like a calendar, there's one that I have from, I think I bought it at the dollar store actually. And it says like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and it's just rows. I'll put in there what it is that those things are if I'm feeling more called to write. But I don't put it in my personal calendar because then it's very overwhelming to see all the things in there. The QR code for the package you created. Actually, I think Ashley posted the link for
Yes,
that.
I did. It's just further up. Let me see.
Here, I got it.
Yep.
There you go, Danny. I just reposted it. That link will take you to the workbook that you can download. Were there any other questions? I covered a lot.